I gave a fireside chat to a group of founders recently. Average net worth was in the tens of millions. Company turnovers in the 8-figure range. And they all had a similar question for me around what I am doing right now to help any organization that I own or advise achieve their quarterly priorities. And it wasn't AI that was my answer. So what was my answer? My answer to the number one thing that leaders and founders can do to help their organization achieve its priorities is focus. Now, it might sound really broad to say that, but I can't tell you what type of focus you need until we understand what your customer needs. And we can't understand what your customer needs until you've identified them. We can't tell what your team needs until we've identified what they're going for and what's getting in their way. And that all comes back to focus. If I have to put like a label on how to bring out that level of focus in an organization, I would say that working to an operating system like scaling up is one definite way to do it. It forces you to answer questions that are all contained in there. And the focus naturally comes from identifying what's most important to your customer and your business in delivering on your customers' expectations, delivering your brand promises expectations to your closing customer, which of your customers are core customers, which are the ones that love you and want to buy more off you, and you get superior profits from and enjoy the work more. And then what barriers are in the way? And those barriers become the focus to remove because they're all little mini projects. The business as usual continues because the business as usual has to continue. So scaling up will force you through that process. There are other simpler versions that you could go through. EOS is slightly simpler, entrepreneurial operating system. Really gets the trades businesses offline. And then one step simpler to that, again, is Patrick Lencioni's setup, part of the Table Group. It all uses similar principles and they all refer to each other a lot throughout their books and their teachings. There's professional implementers for each of those. So my generic advice is to you that instead of looking for the next tool or artifact or tactic to get your team and your company to perform, have a look at what needs to be focused upon and use a system like scaling up to find that out. Hope this helps.